Hello everybody and welcome, ladies and gentlemen. What do we have here? We have a 2020 MV Agusta 800 RC, and this is the Brutale. We have the Reparto Corsa edition, and look at the styling of this motorcycle. It is just gorgeous. We have Italian racing aspects on there, a little bit of carbon fiber, a couple factory modifications that are special to this motorcycle, a couple aftermarket parts that have been thrown on by the current and previous owner to kind of add to their style, and I hope some of your styles out there as well. This bike has just over, I think, 2,700 miles. We have it here at Auto Gallery US. We're presenting the bike on behalf of you guys and ladies and gentlemen out there who are interested in buying this bike. So we're going to show you guys a Cosmetic walk around, get into a cold start, show you kind of some of the features there, and then take her out on the road for you. The current owner of this motorcycle has a large collection. We have, a lot of his motorcycles here that we are selling for him. Just a fraction of his collection, and he's somebody you definitely want to buy a motorcycle from, somebody who's avid, somebody who's enthusiastic about these bikes and just has an overall passion for them and a huge amount of respect. So I have a huge amount of respect for him, and you guys will see that this does present in this motorcycle. It is absolutely gorgeous. There's very little flaws on it, and the ones that are here I will be showing to you. So yeah, this bike actually did spend a lot of its time in California prior to the current owner. It wasn't ridden much, as you can see. Only 2,700 miles is a 2020, so do with that as you will on your kind of perception of how much this bike was ridden over the times. But it does have great history, good maintenance records, and overall presents very well for a bike you can kind of just get on and take on the road right after you buy it. I've had a joy riding this while it's been here. It's super exhilarating. But without further ado, let's get into some cosmetic condition of the bike. We're going to kind of do a walk around of the motorcycle and show you guys all the different aspects of this motorcycle. Starting up front, we'll talk about the Brutale 800 RC Reparto Corsa kind of front, let's say, for our digital display guard there that's fully carbon fiber. And yes, this is a limited edition bike. We have 250 in production. This is number 206, so it makes you kind of feel special. You have a very limited bike here, but this is in great condition. Everything in the front of motorcycles always gets rock chipped, same with cars, but motorcycles specifically, because it's such a narrow body, things are kind of more prone to getting hit there versus the rest of the bike. But everything is looking very nice up front. Coming down to our headlight, we have high and lows with those LEDs looking great with our MV headlight casing there, and that seems like plastic, but there's no rock chips, and it's very clear, looking just great with this aluminum kind of coating. Maybe that's a little polymer coming around here, but we have all of our nuts and bolts in the right place with those Allens, looking just good. And these aftermarket turn signals here as well, which makes a sleek design. We have inverted forks in the front, which are fully adjustable to your riding preference, whether it be stiffer, or you can put a different spring on the inside or stiffen it up for your weight. But these are looking just great in this black finish. Very nice. The only flaw I do have is on this side, which is a little bit of a marring there, a little bit of delamination. But other than that, they look just great. Down to this front fender slash, call it a mud guard, if you will. This is fully carbon fiber with these awesome racing liveries, the MV Agusta branding, Motul, and that awesome Reparto Corsa homage design. We have a very Italian look on this Italian motorcycle, and they actually pulled designs from the F4 Reparto Corsa, which is, if you guys know that motorcycle, a super sport and meant for racing, MotoGP and such, and you can see that design flair is kind of reflecting onto this motorcycle. Same, just to note, with that number 37 on the side, if you guys are wondering why that's there, it goes to Marc Marquez's MotoGP victories, and that is 37, so that's a homage to that as well. But coming around, we'll start on the right side of the front wheel. We have twin caliper setup with twin floating rotors. The rotors are looking great. There's a lot of meet on here, and we have those dual piston Brembos in the front. Adds for a lot of stopping power, but everything is looking good here. Everything's in order. All of our brake lines, nothing's leaking off of it. All of our branding looking very good, and all of the fasteners in the right spots. Yeah, the right side of the nose fender looking good as well. No cracks. Maybe a little bit of a rock chip down here, and I'm grasping at straws here. Of course, this nose section is the most exposed, but everything else looking quite good. A little bit more of a mark there to show you guys, but everything else looking good. It's not cracked or anything of the such. We'll talk about the wheel now itself. The wheel, we have these beautiful painted Reparto Corsa Edition wheels, which I believe is a correct me if I'm wrong, specific to this motorcycle, this red design, maybe the whole wheel itself. We have Diablo Rosso 4s. It's a Pirelli tire. They have much life left in them as well. You also have this, lack of chicken strip coming down here. You can see this bike has been leaned over, which kind of leans to show that this bike was owned by somebody who knew how to ride and also subsequently respected the motorcycle. There's no chipping in the paint here on this red finish, looking very good. And I believe the DOT is on the other side, so we'll get to that in just one moment. But the right side of the wheel checks off. Nothing that's worrying me whatsoever. We have all of our torque marks here on these rotors. And I would imagine that these are the factory rotors as well, those Brembos. So looking just great. So now we're going to kind of go in a counterclockwise fashion around the motorcycle, starting on this side and going around and finishing up on the other side of the engine casing. But we have the left side of the wheel with this floating rotor again, that Brembo, lots of life left on it. The caliper bracket looking great, MV branding. We have our axle nut looking good, and these tires here, you can check them out. Also looking good on this side, much tread, and great grip, I do have to add. Let's see, our date code, we have 1423. They're quite new tires. I'd say they've probably been, well, they would be, have been replaced. Since this is a 2020 motorcycle. Same with the Diablo Rosso 4s. Let's get a size for you guys, 120 by 70 by ZR 17-inch wheels. And this side of the wheel looks also just great. And then we have our brake lines here. So we'll go over the top end of the motorcycle here, starting on the left side, which we have our clutch. Our clutch lever looking just great. No rock chips that I am seeing. No scratching, just a little bit of bug debris from the rolling shots that we got for you guys for this auction. We have Nissan reservoirs for our clutch. Doesn't seem like anything's leaking at all, and our lines are in just great order. You can also see our adjustable top ends for these forks there. Kind of change the dampening to the left or to the right for stiffness, so very fully adjustable. We'll talk about our grips. I believe they're Motion Pro grips. I'm not sure if it comes with the motorcycle in the Reparto Corsa or it's been added after, but I can say that these grips are very nice. It's kind of a knurled finish. They don't twist on this side, of course, you don't want that, but it's nice and supple and feels just great. I do really like this, and it adds for a lot of, grip with that texturing there. Our bar end aftermarket mirrors, I believe it's CRC, yes, CRC or CRG bar end mirrors, which add for great visibility, no rock chipping on there, and they look just great, almost like a billet finish on it with that paint, and very clear mirrors on this side. We'll talk about our buttons here. We have our click in for our high and low beam, our settings, whichever we'd like to have for our riding, and our flashers here, along with our turn signals and our horn. All with the right insignias, nothing's worn off, and everything does work there. Our bar, looking quite good. We'll talk about this finish here that adds to the whole pop of the motorcycle. Very black, very red, white, and then boom, silver. I love it. We have a steering dampener, by CRC, fully adjustable as well. Just twist this knob, stiff or hard, and that's nice to give you no death or speed wobbles on the road, kind of keep you stable, and gives for a good riding. We have our digital display up front, which this is a flaw I would like to note for you guys. There's a little bit of marring on that display there. It is hard to see once the display is on. Also down here as well, if you guys can even see that, it's super minuscule, but I do want to point it out for you. But all the plastics surrounding the front display are looking good as well. We'll talk about the left side of the tank here. So this just looks amazing. The paint on that is gorgeous. We have a great finish. That metallic coming through on that white and that flat red, very Italian inspired. The MV Agusta badging, the Motul badging, everything looking just so nice. We'll talk about our side fender here and our intakes also. We have the Motul sticker and everything's looking good. Let's see, is that a little bit of bug? Yeah, just a little bit of bug there. Sorry about that. Just did some writing like I said, but the only flaw I do also want to note on these fairings is if you can see here, very minuscule as well, but when these bars turn, I'm not sure if you can raise it or lower it, but it does hit a little bit there, and that has caused a little bit of say rub off from that plastic on the bar to kind of end up there and take a little bit of paint off, and there's a little bit on the other side that we'll get to after. Down here we have our 37, same design with that black, that green, that white, that flake in there looks awesome, but the whole fender itself, or fairing, sorry, is in great structural integrity. All the bolts are in the right spot. There's a little bit of delamination here from what looks like some bubbling from what I would assume to be clutch fluid, that .4, .3 coming down, dripping onto there and getting underneath that paint or that sticker adhesive and kind of bubbling it. While we're down here, we'll talk about our radiator, which is in awesome condition. All of the little fins and the grooves are uniform coming all the way across, same with our oil cooler. This is a liquid cooled 3-cylinder motorcycle, so you do have both oil cooler and radiator there. And our piping looks great as well. Before we talk about the rest of the engine, we'll talk about up here our carbon fiber key holster and our decals coming around here painted on, sorry, not decals, these painted lines, and look at this, we have the actual Brutale itself, a good reminder that you're riding a Brutale 800 RC Pardo Corsa edition with the Italian flag all there. Carbon fiber looks good, the key turn looks good as well. We have our MV Agusta key, look at that, looking just awesome. But the rest of the tank looking without flaw. And our filler cap here, I'll show you guys, pop up easy, in there, bang, look at that, look how clean that is. Also, within this tank, we do have kind of a molding that allows for the fuel to not slosh around, which is a race-inspired design. Seen on our factory Triumph race bike, they just threw sponges in the tank. That bike's going so fast, going left and right. To transfer the weight of the fuel, not very good. They incorporated that into the design of this tank. We have the left side of the tank down low, looking good without flaw. This is a friction zone from your knees and your legs to touch, so you see wear here usually, but not on this bike. Our SC Projects exhaust and our Forza Rescue Dog sticker. Not sure where that comes from, but it's actually part of it. Came with the bike it seems, and it's a cool thing to have. I like rescue dogs. But we have our red frame looking just great, popping out, and we have what seems to be some kind of electronic control unit, and the rest of the engine, which just looks great. I don't see any leaks. All of our fasteners are in the right spot. All of our factory stickers are in the right spot. And if a bike goes down, this is the first place to check, not other than the bar ends, would be down here on the, what I would call the crankcase. It's kind of what touches first and scratches up. This bike has not been down, so you can see everything's perfect. Very uniform bolts, nothing's been changed out. All of our torque lines looking great. And then our lower kind of guard fairing down there, which covers the exhaust. And we have some cool, Corsa stickers, we'll say, and the fasteners look good down there as well. No leaking that I can see. A lot of times the fluids will coagulate down there, and you'll see that, but everything's looking good. And since it is the lowest point on the motorcycle and right behind the front wheel, tend to see rock chipping, which we do have one chip here, but the rest of it looks quite clean. It's quite out of view as well, so I wouldn't worry about that at all. It's very, it has a lot of integrity regardless. But we have our quick shifter here, and it's a GP shift, so that's just quite cool as well. 1 up, 5 down. I actually almost prefer that style, and it seems a lot of the motorcycles that has come out of this gentleman's collection also have that GP shift, so I guess he does too. Our kickstand is looking great, and our kickstand switch works as well. It indicates up top when the kickstand's down, so you guys can't forget that your stand's down. And I love the brute force or the fortivity of this kickstand, because a lot of kickstands from Italian motorcycles, hate to say it, I'm a Ducati rider myself, but they're very weak. But this one's very strong, and it doesn't feel unstable when the stand's down. But everything checks all the boxes. On this side we have our shifter lever, which looks great, and that fold back, and it's also fully adjustable with this peg here, MC Moto Parts. I'm not sure if that's aftermarket or not. This is also foldable in case the bike, you get it all the way over and touch that first, its lowest point. That's a good thing to see as well. We'll talk about the seat here, which just looks perfect. I don't use that word a lot, but this seat is without flaw in my eyes, at least from what I've seen. All the stitching looks good. The knurled kind of riveted points on this leather here looking great. Leather is nice and supple, and then that side, I guess, is more leather, but just a different texture. Adds for more of a grip there for your legs, which is great. But yeah, in great condition. I also love how it floats on this frame here over, the rest of the bike. It's such cool design. I mean, some would say maybe for a weight reduction, but I say it's just style points. The rest of the back casing here, on where that frame kind of connects and integrates to that rear, I think it's a piggyback monoshock by Saks, which is also fully adjustable. You have the external reservoir in there. And you can see those springs, or that spring, just looking great. And then we have, more carbon fiber piece, keep your boot kind of on there. And then the passenger peg, which is factory MV Agusta, looking great, and also looks quite unused. We'll see this chain coming down here, which looks clean. Looks greased up. I love to see it, guys. Take care of your chains, please. It's important. A lot of people overlook it. This person has not. Looks just great. We have our single-sided aluminum swing arm. I believe it's aluminum. And our chain guard, also in great condition. And this carbon fiber mud guard kind of shooting off like a spire. It just looks awesome. And yeah, everything's very Italian, I'd say, in this design, but without flaw as well. We have our rear sprocket here. The edges don't look rolled over. It looks nice. We have our torque lines, all of our hardware in the right spot, our locker pin on our nut here for the sprocket. And usually you see these get very dirty. This is super clean. So I like to see that as well. And then we have our single-sided swing arm style wheel. So we have a barrel here instead of a centered wheel. And we have this barrel here, which is a good spot to collect a lot of grime and dings and dents from anything getting caught in that rotation, but not on this wheel. It looks nice. All the paint and the finish looks great, and our Reparto Corsa logo there. Again, Diablo Rosso 4s by Pirelli in the rear, and our DOT, I believe, is on the other side, so we'll check that. But you can see the tread looks great. And again, that bike has been over quite a lot. You can see that coming down here with this rubber kind of heating up there overall on the sidewall. But everything looks good there. We'll start up top here with this side fairing, and again, I think these are the aftermarket turn signals. Here you can see, but under, everything's looking clean. Our tail light looking great, and this tail fairing here looking good. Continuing with the red design in that Italian look towards the back end, they show you again Brutale 800 RC looking good, and the rear passenger seat with this red leather adds to kind of continuing with that design, which I love that they did that. But again, without flaw. I don't have any notes with that. Looking good on all the stitching, no rips, no tears, no discoloration. And our rear guard for that seat, that brace, maybe even a hand holster for your rear passenger if they're not choosing to grab onto you for dear life. But yeah, everything else looking quite good here. Same with that right turn signal. Start with this right side of this wheel. This is what I love about single-sided swing arms. You can just see all of the beauty of the design put into these wheels, and look at this wheel, it's magnificent. Without a scratch that I am seeing, just looking awesome. Love it. We have our axle nut here, the locker in there, and also you can see the rotor back there, and our caliper down here. Also just looking good by Brembo, a lot of life left in them, and great stopping power, no squeaking. Nothing to note on that end as I've ridden it. And then we have our tires. Looks like we got 190 by 55 by 17 in the rear. Like I said, a lot of tread left. Nothing to worry about, no gashes in the tire. And 0323, so this is a bike you can just get on and go hit the street, go hit the track, go do whatever you want. Don't have to worry about the tire, the chain, the oil. Everything's in order for you to just, turn key and go. This side up here of the tail's looking good. Nothing to note there. And then what you have is an aftermarket plate holster. The original, usually on newer bikes, people like to call them the loaded diaper because it looks like a loaded diaper. It's quite ugly. It sticks all the way out of the back, ruins the profile, but it is under DOT regulations. But companies make these, which is aftermarket plate frames and plate holders, which is great. You know, it kind of continues with a nice design there. We have our passenger peg there, and one of my favorite parts of this motorcycle, the SC Projects exhaust. This is a 3-cylinder motorcycle, and just fun fact, you have 2 injectors per cylinder, but where does that fuel go after it's burnt? Through this titanium 3-in-1 SC Projects exhaust that's been made special edition for this motorcycle. You can see, look at those welds, look at that coloration. Let me tell you, it's not just looks. This bike sounds amazing. We have this carbon fiber tip here with all of our rivets in the right spot and all of our branding there. And just a little bit of discoloration here. It's from heat and I'm sure some grime coming up. But look at this honeycomb back here. And I know you guys can see that color. I just love titanium for that reason. Awesome, 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 and in great condition. You know, it's not hanging off, it's not loose, it's not banging around. So it's just great. Let's talk about up top. The right side of the seat, as you can see, also looking great. This carbon fiber piece here, very thin, very easy to crack, but no, it's in good condition. We have this CRC tank guard here. Usually where your belt is, where your zippers are, will be up against this when you are riding. So you'll see damage usually, but not on this bike. It's looking good. And same with here, we have our factory stickers, everything in great condition. And now we'll come down to our right side peg, which looks good. As you can see, if it's been dropped, usually here as well, but no, looking just good. There's a little bit, actually, of a mar here, but that happens when you get the bike all the way over sometimes. You know, that's why they're foldable. They come up, but I wouldn't say this bike's been dropped because of that, but it probably has been touched from a skilled rider. Excuse me. The right side of the motorcycle is looking great as well. We have our frame, we have our polymer casing here, and our crankcase branded with MV Agusta and all of our proper hardware. Our rear brake here, and our master cylinder as well, and our fluid reservoir. Everything looking in great condition. Then we have our lower fairing with that gorgeous paint flake there, and that you know, Corsa style stickering. Sorry about that, guys. My throat dried out. These long monologues, especially on gorgeous motorcycles where we have to show you every little aspect. Sometimes it happens. Grabbed a sip of water. All right, back into it. So the right side of the motorcycle looking good. You can see these furthest most right cylinder, all looking good. All of our gaskets, no leaking, and our lines coming off there for our vents and our fuel injection. Everything looking just awesome. And continuing with the rest of the frame up top, just looking good. You got a little fuse box here. Nothing that's screaming, you know, I've been touched, or, you know, like, please help me, you know, save me, nothing like that. The rest of the right side of the bike here, no dents, no scratches, especially in our friction zones. The fairing looking just perfect on this side with that 37 and that flake in there and the Italian design. Again, on this right side up top, we do have a little bit of marring from where the bar comes down and over. If the handlebar goes all the way around, you can see there and there and there. But that's pretty much the worst flaws on the whole motorcycle. I wouldn't have to note really anything else. Coming around to the top end, we have our Nissan reservoir, not leaking whatsoever there. The rest of our right bar, all looking good. And if you can look down here as well, I'm pretty sure that's the coolant reservoir. Down there, it's where it is on most Italian motorcycles. And it's nice pink coolant. Everyone likes to see that. And our VIN stamping there on our head tube, which you guys can check out. Better photos in the gallery. But the rest of the right side bar are Motion Pro grips, which it is branded on this side, and that nice snappy throttle. Let me tell you, this throttle is so responsive, and I just absolutely love it. We have our insignias for our starter, all the way left on the kill switch, such as this, just to kill the bike, and kind of factory there, you know, keep it in the center for running, and then this is the starter if you hold it over like that. You have our engine map, which you can change from, I believe, touring, normal, and sport. It might be, the first option might be different, but I know we have normal and sport. I like sport. We have our hazards, and everything else is looking good here. A little bit of some kind of almost melt, if it seems, or some kind of tear there, but nothing that's you know, endangering the actual integrity of the grip. And our front brake lever looking good. You can hear that click switch, maybe, if you can hear that, not sure, but there is a click there for that brake. And then our right bar and mirror, which I do have to say, I haven't been a huge fan of bar and mirrors ever, but these are actually quite nice. There's a lot of, it's a very sleek look, but there's a lot of visibility, you know, almost more than most normal mirrors. And you can change them up, whichever you'd like, you know, flip them inverted or however you want it. This has been set up by the current owner. Last but not least, we'll talk about the right side of the radiator down here. And oil cooler, we have our oil line. Look at that condition, it's gorgeous. And then you can see our exhaust. How beautiful that design is. We got that 3-into-1, super complex, nice welds. You know, I want to meet the guy who designed that. It's pretty cool. But about, you know, that's about it for this motorcycle. Talking about the cosmetic condition, because it's gorgeous though, you know. So why talk more about the cosmetic condition, and why not move into getting a sweet cold start? But before we do that, we're gonna open up the rear seat for you guys to show you kind of what's under there and the procedure to do that. So come around down here with our MV Agusta key. Same key to start the bike into the slot there, pretty far back, or far forward compared to the seat. It does work. So we're gonna pull here, the front comes up, and then you pull it towards you, yep, like that. You can see under here, we have our Allens. And funny about a lot of motorcycles, especially Italian ones, you can take almost the whole bike apart with the Allens that are given to you with it. So we have our fuse puller and our 2 Allens, and that's an old insurance card there, and an Optima battery charger here. If you need to tend to the bike, which I do recommend MV Agustas, you keep on tenders every time you park the motorcycle. But everything's in check in here. We have our little fuse, and I've kind of just tucked it in here. You can change it and put it somewhere else if you'd like. You just got to get to the battery and take this tender and reorganize it the way you prefer. Let's see if I can get this on first try. Goes on here and then slides in. That click in easy. And yeah, without further ado, we're gonna get into a cold start, and then we're gonna take her out on the road. All right, we're gonna get into a cold start here. So come around here and check out this display. This is what you get. This is what greets you when you turn the electrics on, the master on. So testing MV Agusta, test okay, maintenance okay. And then it shows our mileage, 2,792. We have our displays down here, ABS, engine light, neutral indication, kickstand down, and oil pressure or oil level. We have our gear select here and our 0 mile per hour. You can see it's coolant level low here. So the bike hasn't been started, and just to show you guys that, I'm gonna take my hand. I know it's beat up anyways, but we're gonna go down, bang, right on that titanium exhaust. This usually would be boiling even just after a couple seconds of the bike running. But she's been cold here, safe in our shop, charging overnight. Just wheeled her out this morning to show you guys the beauty of this motorcycle. But now what's even more beautiful than the looks of the motorcycle? The SC Project's exhaust from that 3-cylinder. So here we go for a cold start. So hand on the clutch and just like that. Right on. Give it about 10 seconds. Come here. Very, very nice. A little bit of a so that's what a motorcycle is supposed to sound like, guys. This is one of my favorite bikes in the shop right now. So yeah, let's take her out on the road after she warms up, throw some gear on, and we'll hit it.
Alrighty, we are here with the MV. A little bit later in the day, I had to go get some food, but I've had it running here for a little bit. We are slightly warm, not low anymore. Getting my gear strapped up here. Got you guys on a chest mount. Taking her out on the road. Just fueled it up. Gotta get my gloves warm. Alright. So we're here with the bike. Got kickstand down, indicator down. So we'll put it up, indicator goes away. We're in neutral here. We have the engine maps. We're going to start it off in normal mode. We got custom. We got rain, I believe. We're going to change. We got normal and rain. Then we have the flashers that work. High beams on, flasher here. Horn works, and turn signals work, left and right, and then the hazards also work. Beautiful. Oh, it sounds just so good. So you have the GP shift, so it's going to be first gear's up, and then the 5 are down, until you're at 6th gear. The second is past neutral coming down. Your mirrors set up, which is good visibility, which just looks great. We're going to take her out, show you how it is just to cruise it around, switch it over to sport after that on the back roads, and show you what this bike's got. So I have the quick shift mode on. You can select through. We have lap timers. We have all these things. This bike feels great, super controllable. Just awesome. So leaving the shop here. We got Oscar out here. We got our Carmen Gia leaving. So we got the transporter outside. Oh, it just wants to keep going, you know? In normal, it's still very responsive and very snappy. But the clutch feels great, the shifting feels great. I'm used to GP shift, so I love it. I don't daily a GP. My Ducati I'm used to has no quick shifter. It's a normal standard pattern. So first gear down, 5 up. But the quick shift is fun. Just click it through, straight to 3rd gear from 5th there, no problem, no clutch. And this bike is just smooth. It's really smooth. It's quite windy as we have no fairings, but that's no worries because you're not focused on the wind, you're focused. Amazing this bike handles. Look at these tires, nice and warm, and the brakes are also great. Oh, it's pretty fast, guys. Oh, there we go. Into 2nd gear, throw our signal on. Very nice. We got some pedestrians here. He wants us to wheelie. Down into 2nd. Oh, this bike is so maneuverable. The back roads is awesome. Oh, it's so fast. Some braking, lean her over, roll the throttle and get her upright. Oh, so dynamic. Very responsive, and we are in normal mode right now. So I'm gonna switch it over. You know, this bike has ABS and traction control and such. It's a little bit hard to switch over while you're riding. Hand has to be over here onto the buttons. We're in rain mode. Switch it to sport, and then we close the throttle to activate it, I believe. It's anything like a Ducati. So now we are in sport mode. Oh yeah, it gets real snappy there. So 3rd gear, hanging out in the low RPMs, 4,500 at 40 miles an hour. This bike seems to rev out to 15,000 RPM. So very good. Eyes up on the road now, less on the dash. Oh yeah. So that's where it goes when you start giving it some throttle. That's probably about 75% throttle. We'll downshift here into 1st to give you another nice pull. Woo. 2nd gear, and you can just see how fast that really is. Probably about 75 to 80% through 2nd gear, and we're coming close to going too fast, guys. So, I mean, it's just so nice. It leans over. The dive is great. It's not too much, though. It's just on point where you feel like you're diving, so you feel like you have front end traction. You know it's there, and the bike just pulls you straight through the turns. But I'm just hanging out here, loving this day on this MV Agusta. It's such a pleasure to ride, and I mean, I don't know. I'm usually used to super bikes, but Street Fighter naked bike, you know, give me upright, give me with some flat handlebars, and we're gonna have a good day. We're gonna have a great day. So we have some twisties up here, I do know that. Give it some speed into those. 6th gear, down, and Oh, so nice. Get it over, get off the bike a little bit. Woo! And I wish you guys could truly hear how amazing the sounds spat out right beneath your foot, just right behind it. So nice. The little burbles, the backfires. It sounds so on point, just like the Italian manufacturers meant to refine this motorcycle. Here, downshift, a little bit of braking, hop over, and let's get the bike over. And throttle. Yeah, that's incredible. Incredible. A little bumpy there. And even with that bump, it's not too bad. My back isn't hurting over these bumps. It handles it quite well. For me to say as a younger gentleman, but from riding older bikes to newer bikes, everything from a 70s or 60s Triumph to a 2020 MV Agusta, you can kind of compare from there how far suspension technology has gotten. So let's get it into fifth gear. Just gonna hang out here. Throttle responsive. And that low end torque. I mean, look at that. Into sixth. I mean, I know bikes that's what second gear feels like, or third gear, you know, at that speed. Even then, you can also use the clutch to do your downshifts if you're not feeling quick shifter. You can change it up as well in the settings to turn the quick shifter off. It's getting a little bit darker in this corner here, but this is a fun section, I do know it. You come all the way on the outside, bring her over, and then the crest comes out, lets you over, flatten it out, and then roll the throttle. Downshift, come into a slower area here where I'll turn around. Turn our right signal on, right signal going. Oh, nice. R6 Avant. Who doesn't want one of those? Start to head back to the shop here. Stuck behind some traffic now, which is just fine. Woo! Man! Oh, it's so aggressive. So aggressive. But it's so captivating at the same time. Everything feels good. The throttle's not cutting out at all. I really do have no complaints about how this bike rides. And you can throw a passenger on the back while you do this. I mean, they might be hanging on for dear life, like I've said before. You know, but you have the pegs, you have the option. And it could add for a fun time out with your kid, out on a date, go get some ice cream on the MV. Oh, man. Oh man. But yeah, still, the gearing is very nice and set up for this motor. Your 3-cylinder, your twin injection, and so perfect, so perfect. We can also adjust the steering, stabilizer and dampening, and get it nice and set up exactly how you want it to handle. Personally, I wouldn't change a thing. I'm loving this thing. It goes where I want it to go. You know, I can get off the bike, get it over, and move it around. Super, super dynamic, and that shifting is just awesome. Adds to the whole ambiance of the motorcycle. A brake test for you guys. We'll slow down. Get some gas on it. Come down the hill. We'll go onto the brakes. The brakes feel great. I mistakenly actually went on an upshift instead of a downshift. My reflexes on hard braking is, you know, slap the gears down instead of up. Oh, wow. Woo! Sounds so insane. It just wants to pull through the turns. Absolutely spectacular. Somebody is really going to enjoy this bike, and it is turnkey. Just get on and go. I mean, this little miles, who wouldn't want that? And for the price point, you can't really get much better for these bikes. I mean, holy. they're quite reliable. You know, you weed out some of the Achilles heels, which all motorcycles have. Put yourself into this for a decent price point, and you know, just go have a special time on a special motorcycle. I have never seen one of these. I pulled this into a coffee shop one time, and I had all of the guys out there. Shut off for a little bit for you guys. All the guys out there come swarming to the bike, and they were riding. What were they riding? They were riding old Triumphs. There was a lot of Moto Guzzi guys, and they came running over like, "Yo, is this an MV Agusta? You know, is this the new MV Agusta? I've never seen one of these." I mean, just look at this bike. Seriously, look at it. Incredible. Incredible. The styling is awesome, and it matches perfectly to what you would expect out of a bike like this. Get it reset to 0. Maintenance okay, test okay. We'll start it up again for you guys in the first gear. Let's see. Had to be in neutral there. Start it up, and it runs great. ABS is going to reset itself. Kickstand is down. We'll do one last pull for you guys. Thank you guys so much for watching. It's such a blast to ride this thing. This all day long. I love the job. But gotta show you guys how amazing this bike is. Oh. Love it. Thank you guys so much, and best of luck with the auction.